Hey guys, I'm here today with another market watch. Unfortunately, I did already film like most of this video that I'm going to do, but then my Wi-Fi temporarily cut out. So I'm going to try to move a little bit quicker than I was because I was kind of going a little bit slow. But first, I do have an update for you on the whole Outbound Strike purchase debacle. I'm going to go quickly over this because I don't want to bring too much negativity to this video, but I will read you this and then we'll briefly cover it, and then I'll move on to the other things that I have to cover. So this is basically what the seller responded to me or messaged to me on 5/3, which is, I guess, 2 days ago. And they haven't responded to me because I did respond to this. But they said, as I told the buyer, I did so to save on shipping and all cards are in near mint as they should be. The only thing was there was no box included on 3 to save on shipping costs. All they did was complain, saying they wanted them sealed, to which I said I had none left and that all cards were near mint. Then went on to say that usually other sellers post pics saying there's no box included. I am not other sellers, and if you would be so kind as to remove the negative feedback from my account, I would greatly appreciate this. So to give some background, I did leave negative feedback because I said that they were not willing to work with me. They didn't send the product as described, and that they were kind of rude to me, and I gave them bad feedback. And then this is basically what they responded with. And so obviously this is not a great way to go about this, making demands that I remove the negative feedback. Not that it's really a demand per se, but to not offer any solutions and then also be rude and tell me that I'm complaining and then to tell me to remove the negative feedback. I don't know. It just seems not great, or not a great thing to do. And obviously the seller has some work to do to create a better customer service for their buyers. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to continue to deal with this. And then I'll probably just give an overall update whenever this is over with. I'm probably not going to spend too much more time or energy on this because to me, it's not really worth it. At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure I can just message TCD player and show them this response and they'll probably just fix it for me anyways. But yeah, I just thought it was hilarious the way they dealt with it, and just kind of wanted to give you guys an update because some of you guys wanted to know how that was going. But moving on, I'm gonna have to go back here because I did, like I said, get most of the way through this market watch. But oh, before we do, I forgot. So I mentioned that I was doing a giveaway last week, and that will be sometime this weekend when I do the video with the white Mexican. But I said that you could win the Duelist Alliance First Edition pack, but in addition, you can also choose if you would rather have a Unlim Flames of Destruction or a Unlim Generation Force, completely up to you. But like I said, that will be this weekend sometime, hopefully. But for this video, I'm also going to be doing a giveaway. It's going to be for a Exosister Michaelis pack fresh, never played. So yeah, all you have to do for that is make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and then leave a comment in the comment section down below, because that's how I pick people. Is, you can't really see likes, but I can see your comments, so that's the best way to go about it. And I can also see if you're subscribed or not as well. So I think that's the best way to go about it. But going into the market watch, the first card I have is Incredible Ecclesia. Not too much to note. I just wanted to note that it has gone up again from around the 44 mark to 52, and then bottoming out towards 54. I wouldn't say to pick these cards up because it is probably going to get a reprint this year. But if you have them, I understand not wanting to sell them either, because I do have the secret rares and I personally don't want to sell them, at least not yet, because I really do like the artwork. I did, however, let's see, I did end up selling my Starlight rare, so I'm getting ready to ship that off. And the reason is I just kind of want the money to invest in other cards. I just kind of think that it's going to stick around the price that it's at now. So yeah, I just wanted to move on from that and take my profit. Moving on, we have Fairy Tale Snow. I mentioned to pick this card up when I saw that it hadn't got reprinted in as a ultra rare in Ghost from the Past 2. and it was around 14 to 16, depending on, light play versus near mint. I did get my first one in, and I have another one on the way. But now they are up in price towards 25 for near mint. There are no light plays left. So I don't think you should pick them up at this point. I think you should probably just offload extra copies. They will reprint this card for sure at some point this year. I think it's a good time to take profits. I will definitely be keeping one of these copies that I get for myself to play with, or just to have for my collection, because I really do like the OTS supers. But just wanted to alert you to that, price spike. Next is Ghosts from the Past. Like I said, I kind of already went through this, so I'm going to go back. But this is a good card to pick up. Retaliating Sea, it's down to 30 cents and kind of lower on copies. I'll just go backwards, I guess, since we're already here. It is nice that they have the pictures up, because just making sure that I was recording this time, because I don't want to get all the way through. But yes, I am recording. Hope Harbinger, also a good pickup, but I do think it's going to come down in price. That's going to be the story for most of these. I do think that they'll come down a little bit more. Also Dagaris and Draglubion, and honestly probably Tragedy too, because you do play these. I think 2 copies is probably what I found to be the best. Quintet as well. And all of your, I would pick up all your tinny stuff whenever it kind of dips down to like 25 cents or so. And Manju, of course, but we've already gone over that. And then first page. So I wanted to note that the Dark Magician Girl Ghost Rare is 450 for the near mint first edition, which is where I said I thought they would go. It does look like at this point, since this is pre-sale, it probably will go a little bit lower. But just keep your eye on these cards, because these can move fast. Blue Eyes White Dragon around 280. It's really, really good. Red Eyes Black Dragon 230. I do think it's going to go lower. Cyber Dragon, I would not spend 170 on this. It's going to go lower. These are decent price, but like I said, I think with the pull ratios as good as they are, like it's not hard to pull Ghost Rare. I do think that this will probably come down. I don't know where Tamias is. It's not up here, so maybe I guess no one's bought it yet. Big surprise. The displays are 74. Not too bad. I guess I will also say that, so the Ghost Rare pull rate on average is going to be 3. That doesn't mean if you buy a case you're going to get 3, because the issue is with quality control, and some people are ordering a case and getting 0 Ghost Rares, while another person might order a case and get 6. So on average you're getting 2 to 3, but you could be really unlucky and get one of those the cases that doesn't have them. And there's kind of a clumping issue too, so some people are getting multiple of the same one, which works out really good if you get the Dark Magician Girl. But if you want to gamble and go for a display, I don't think it's that bad. You probably have like a 8 to 10% chance of pulling a Ghost Rare, I believe, maybe a little bit higher with a display. Aliber at 25. I still think it probably will be settle out to 16 to 20. But not bad if you just want to have yours. Heat Soul at 890. Like I said, all of these are going to continue to go down a little bit lower. Heat Soul and Hulk, I don't know how much lower they will go to be honest, and Borderland. But Borderland is also a good card to keep your eye on, because it will be the only print that we have of this card. The first print, same with Heat Soul. And I do think it can go up over time, especially if Dragon Link gets some traction and people start playing that again. Galaxy Soldier, like I said, when this card was like $8 or so, I mean, some people were saying to pick this up at like 5 or 6. I disagreed. I did think it was gonna go much lower, and I was right. It's at 250 now, but I think it's really more towards 3. And I do think it'll go down lower, like maybe to $1.50 to $2. But if you want to get them now, that's perfectly fine as well. Ryza would definitely continue to go down. That's a one of. But all these other cards, just keep your eye on them. Dramaturge, like, I would invest in this card, but if you want to play it, definitely get it. But that's all I really have for this set. Like I said, I think tomorrow is the official release, or it's either tomorrow or Saturday. So just keep your eye on it, because there are going to be some really good pickups from this set. Next, I wanted to kind of showcase Masquerade again because it is bought up towards 30. There's one left here for 28 with shipping before it's $30. Like if you want to offload your extra copies, I kind of think that it's not going to go higher than this. I keep saying that and then it does, but it's one of the cards that I covered at $9 and then again at 12, and said like, make sure you have these, it's going to be really good. And even at 15, I said like, it's still going to keep going higher. So hopefully you got these, while you had the chance. And if you did, now's a good time to, sell and make some profit. Geek Boy, not going to go over this for very long, but I did want to mention that this had gone up to 11 and I said, make sure you sell them. It's now back down to $8, and honestly, we'll probably go back down towards 5 or 6. I just don't think that this deck will make it that big of a splash. It's very cool, and I am interested in the deck long term, but I was definitely happy to take my profits and run. With that being said, if you have tested this deck or you know a lot about this deck, let me know if I'm wrong. Like this deck is going to be really good. Just because I don't know that much about it. I've just read through some of the cards, and from what I can see, the actual archetype itself has really powerful effects, but doesn't do too much. But if it's being played with some other engine that I'm not aware about, then let me know for sure, because I am interested in this deck. I just don't know that much at this point because it's not in the OCG, so there's no like track record of competitive play. But at $8, I would probably still sell them if you had them, like if you didn't get a chance to sell them at 11. Next is Skater Dawnwalker. I do have 3 copies of this, and I'm looking to offload them here this week because they're up at $20, and it should most likely get reprinted this summer in Legendary Duel Season 3. I would be very surprised if it doesn't, because there aren't too many cards they can print at this point that still have value. I mean, there's still Liquid Soldier, I believe. I mean, Magician Soul still needs another reprint. But other than that, a lot of the other top end cards, Curse Necrofear maybe, I think is the other one. But other than that, there's not really too much on the top end of cards that they can reprint. So I think this will definitely be one that they include. A very powerful card for, pure synchro decks. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the reprint and take my profits now. Sword Soul Emergence. I mean, this is a search card for Sword Soul. Not much needs to be said about it. It is up towards $5. This was a little bit cheaper, more down towards like 3 or 4. But to get a playset, you're gonna have a hard time finding a playset for under $7 to $8 a piece from one seller at least. But just it's interesting to me to see this moving up still. As you can see, it bottomed out here. It says $4.82, but I remember seeing them for $3 to $4. Let's see. Moving on. I should have also mentioned this is probably going to be a lengthier market watch at the beginning, but it is a little bit longer. Next is Alpha the Master of the Beast. This is down towards $7.50. If you don't have yours, I would get them, because every time I've cited this card into a deck, it's overperformed for me, especially for decks where it's really hard where you really need to remove certain cards. But the reason that I kind of like this better than playing kaijus, depending on what deck you're playing, is you can bounce a card, but then you can also use this as a beater again, because you can summon it back to your field, and then you have a 3000 beat stick on your field, which is really cool. It does have a reprint as ultra rare, which is going for around, I think, $2 to $3, and then the Starlight is $200. But if you were going to pick one up, I would say get the secret rare. I mean, obviously the Starlight's nice too, but spend the extra few dollars and get the secret rare over the ultra rare. Even though I do have the ultra rares, but it's just because I open the 10s and I'd rather hold them than sell them for a couple dollars. Next is AA Zeus Ultimate Rare. I've noticed a lot of people in people's streams asking about this card, so I figured I would just cover it. It's around $56 and then going up towards $60. I think it's a really good spot to get into this card out, because it's just a really powerful card. I'm not going to personally buy this card just because I'm happy with the secret rare, but I do think over time this card could move up towards the 75 to 80 range. So if you wanted to make some money over time, it's not a bad card to do it with. The only issue with this card is you do have you have the Starlight rare, which hovers above this. So, it's going to put the ceiling on this card at a lower ceiling, at least, than the Starlight rare. So just keep that in mind. Like if you're thinking you're going to get $300 back on this card someday, you probably won't, or at least for a very long time. Like you can make some money, but it's going to be capped by how much the Starlight rare is. Next is Deepsea Diva, the super rare. Just wanted to mention it's around $850 for a place to get at least a play set. But there's one copy here for $750, which is up from the $5, which is the last time I covered this card. I think it's going to continue moving up, to be honest with you. There's not that many hollow printings of this card, and I remember when the OTS Tournament Pack 13 came out and this card was like 75 cents and people were throwing these away at locals. But yeah, I always thought that this was a good card to hold on to. I did want to point out too, Atlantean Heavy Infantry is bought out to like $18. There is a near mint copy here for $360 if you want to risk it. There actually was he had like 7 of them, I believe. Or several of them at least. And I thought about doing it, but I looked at the reviews and there was some really bad reviews. If you wanted to risk it and flip it and make $10, that's up to you. But I just wanted to point out that this is pretty expensive. It bottoms out at $34.50. Oh, I guess I'd already pulled it up. Next is Triple Tactics Talent. I've noticed the ultra rares are getting cleaned off the shelves. This is definitely a interesting tech choice for this format, because branded, they're not really playing negates per se, but they are playing a lot of cards that have monster effects on your turn. And this is just a really good way to counter that deck. The secret rares are going for 58 for lightly played, and the near mints are 64. I would recommend investing into Rise of the Duelist secret rares because there's just not a lot of these cards out there. And this card probably won't get reprinted for a long time now that it was in the 10s. And it's like the second highest value card in the 10s. So just keep your eye on this card. Make sure you have some. I did order a playset for myself. I used to have a playset, but I sold them when they were like 120 or 140, something crazy. It was like back when we got that, like the second COVID check, when like all the staples like disappeared. The ultra rare, there's 4 here for 20. That is really, really good if you want to get on that. And then it goes to 23. And there's 4 copies. Yeah, 4 copies at 20. That's really, really good. And then it's bottoming out towards 25. And if you look in the sales history, a lot of these are selling. So just make sure you have yours. Next, I just kind of wanted, this is kind of one of those WTF scenarios. So for whatever reason, the first edition Rise of the Duelist secret rares are going for less than the Brothers of Legend secret rare Forbidden Droplets. So we have $94 here for 2 near mint first edition Rise of the Duelist secret rares, which, by the way, if you want to pick up your droplets, that is the time to do it. But then if you look over at Brothers of Legend, I think people just assume that the Rise of the Duelist is more expensive. And so because less people are looking at it, it's just gone down in price. Okay, this has come down by 1 copy, but before then, when I was looking at it earlier today, it was $95 lowest. But this has come down a few dollars. But why would you spend $90 for this when you can spend $4 more and get the first edition printing and Rise of the Duelist of all sets? Like, please don't waste your money on this. Like, go get the first edition. Next, I wanted to kind of briefly cover the Dragon Maids. This is one of those archetypes that just gets, revolving buyouts all the time. And I think some of these price points are good to pick up at this point. I really want to get my Kitchen Dragon Maids at 28. I think that's really, really good. Chamber is decent at 36 too. It is hard for me to want to buy a Chamber because I did have a play set of those when they were $12 a long time ago. But at the same time, like, I know where the ceiling for this card is now. So lore part, I remember when this card was under 3. Nurse Dragon Maid actually is really, really good too at 16. And then some of these gold rares are really good because these just continue to slowly increase in price. But I think in general, just like, I'm not going to cover everyone specifically, but all these are moving up. I will say Drag May Tiding, make sure you have your super rares, of course. But yeah, I would just make sure that you, or not make sure, you don't have to buy this if you don't want to, but I think that it's a decent investment. It's not like, you know, because it's not like a staple card, you know, obviously because it's its own archetype. So if, you know, if it's like triple tactics talent, of course, like I do want to make sure that you have those for your collection or to play with potentially before it spikes up in price. But this is just one of the archetypes that you can invest into and potentially make decent returns in the future. And a lot of these cards won't dip in price, and it'll probably be a long time before we see reprints of these cards, specifically the ones that have already been reprinted. Okay, next is I wanted to go over the Phantom Knight archetype. I wanted to point out that the secret rare first edition torn scales are under $6, which is insane to me. Like, I would make sure that you have a play set of those, just because I really do think that those will be a really good investment for the future. I mean, the only thing that could really happen is if they hit torn scales to 1, which could happen for sure, don't get me wrong. But I don't think that they're making a big enough splash right now to warrant any kind of banless hits or like archetype hits. And recently it seems like Konami is staying away from banning archetype cards if they can, and just banning generic cards that are good for multiple decks. Like, for example, for this deck, they would maybe hit Adventure Token, but not on this ban list because it's too new. But like, or they would hit Cherubini or some, you know, something else that helps the consistency without directly hitting the main deck cards. And then also Fogblade, the secret rare first editions are like $4.50. I think that's really, really good too, especially since the ultra rares are like $1 cheaper. But really just anything in this archetype is really good to pick up right now. Because like even the Break Sword reprints are under $1. That's really good. Yeah, it's just crazy to me how like cheap this archetype is. This is like almost a budget deck at a pretty high rarity level, which is insane. So I wanted to cover Exosisters because they have moved up in price. The Michaelis collector's rare, there's only 4 listings and it's $80. Packs 11 listings at 65, and then Sophia at 37 with only 14 listings. And then the ultra rare packs at 15, which is crazy to me. Sophia at 9 and Michaelis, it says 5, but I think it's actually towards 8. Yeah, so you can get these $5.50 ones, but they're not verified low sales. So if you look at a verified seller, $8 is the lowest. And like I said, we are giving away one of these today. But yeah, this is something you want to keep your eye on. Not necessarily to pick up. I wouldn't pick up these cards right now, but I would keep an eye on this archetype and kind of see how it evolves as we get more support. But personally, if I had these cards, I would offload them because I think it's probably going to be similar power level to like Live Twins. I think a lot of people will gravitate towards this deck and like it, but I don't think that it's going to be anywhere close to like a tier 1 deck. Probably like a tier 2 deck. Next is Destrudo. These super rares are down quite a bit in price, and you can get them for $3 to $4, depending on if you want to get a light play or near mint. I would definitely pick these up. I do think they're a solid investment. It's only hollow printing, and it didn't get reprinted and goes from the past. This is for Thatch. I wanted to go over Light Imprisoning Mirror. So they're all very low on listings, but they're not too high in cost. So we'll look at the Turbo Pack rares. I think they're around a couple dollars. $3 for Light Play Unlimited, and Near Mint Unlimited $4. And for the Dual Terminal, look and see. That was not what I wanted. I think it shifted down when I clicked into it. $7 for Light Play, and you get a playset. That's not too bad. If you were going to get one of these, I would go with this. But it's, even though it's low on listings, it's not that high in price. You can still get Gladiators, Assault, you know, commons if you want as well for really cheap. But I don't really see, this must be for a past format because I don't really see any archetypes coming out that this is really good against. But yeah, Thatch, if you know, like, because you wanted me to cover this, if you know why this is getting bought out, let me know. But yeah, I mean, it's not super expensive. This is a good card to have generally in your trade binder, so getting those dual terminals is probably not a bad idea. I don't want that. Magician's Souls. So these are down quite a bit in price. I came on and noticed that there is a near mint first edition for 52. If you want to grab that, that's really not too bad, because we do go up to towards 60 afterwards for the near mint first. I guess in at 55. I guess one important thing to note with this card is it probably will get a reprint, I imagine, this summer and the season 3. But with that being said, I don't think that this price will crash per se. If it gets reprinted again, I imagine this for first editions anyways, these will probably come down to like $38 to $40. But they won't spend much time there. I do think over time, these will skyrocket back in price. These were really hard to get in this set, very short printed. And it's like everybody wants these. I mean, who doesn't want a Magician's Souls? I actually just got one in. I only ordered one because I'm going to wait for the rest of them, but I wanted to get one because I saw one for 55 and wanted to grab one. It is a first edition. But I will probably pick up the rest whenever, if this gets reprinted. If it doesn't get reprinted, this will skyrocket in price, no doubt in my mind. Other than that, I did want to kind of go over some of the cards that I've gotten in the mail. So I have like got my 10U core here, but they are all common. So I'm going to replace those with ultra rares once this goes from the past drops. But also I picked up, I think I already showed these, but I got a couple of copies of the ultra rare Squamata. And then, okay, yeah, here's all the cards I got in the mail yesterday, I believe. So I got one Cosmo Dark Lady secret rare. I got two Cosmojos, but here's one of them. The other one's in the binder. Secret rares. Those are all on limb just because I saw one seller that had both the Cosmo Dark Lady and the Cosmojos, and they were like very, very cheap. So I did want the first editions, but there was just not any sellers that had multiple copies of them. But I did get 3 first edition Cosmo Tin Can ultra rares. I got 3 first edition Cosmo Town gold secret rares. These look really good, by the way. Those are baseball cards. And then over here, I got some more. So I got one super rare Bahamut Shark because these were like $3.50. I do think these will go back towards 8. Oh, there's my other Cosmojo. And because this is random, but because I found a seller with a few cards that I wanted, I got one super rare Effect Veiler from ORCS. And then I got 5 ultra rare DD Crows just from Dual Devastator. I lost mine, even though I opened like 4 of these somewhere. They disappeared somewhere along the line. So I just went ahead and picked mine back up and then got, you know, a few extra for an investment, and they were going up in price too. So I think that was the right decision there. Other than that, let's see. Oh yeah, I did get, I think I put some of these in binders. That's probably the problem here. Yeah, I think the other cards I picked up are in binders. I don't want to spend too much of your time. Yeah, they're all in binders. But I did get another play set of the Gold Rare Ghost Warners. I did end up, like I said, I ordered the secret rare over the weekend, or I think last Friday. And then I ended up last night ordering another play set of the ultra rare Ghost Warners because a seller had a play set for $2 a piece, which is really good for the ultra rare. But yeah, right now I'm focused on picking up staples like Effect Veiler, DD Crows, Ghost Warners, Triple Tactics Talent, and stuff like that, because those just sell very well. And we are seeing those start to go up in price. I do think at some point the staples like that, they'll just go up in price and they won't really come back down. When people realize that the game is cyclical and there's like no reason to sell your copies when it's not seeing play, because you're going to always be selling it at the lowest price point versus the highest price point going to have to be like when you pick it back up when you need them. So I do think that people will stop doing that eventually, which kind of sucks for us because it creates a good investment cycle, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. All right, I'm gonna put these up, and then like I said, we are doing a giveaway for Michaelis. All you have to do is be subscribed, like this video, and then make sure you leave a comment, most importantly. But yeah, thanks for joining in and watching. I will be doing a video. I guess my next video will probably be with the White Mexican, I would imagine. But yeah, I'll keep you updated. But you guys have a good Thursday, maybe Friday if I don't see you tomorrow. But yeah, take it easy.